I will pass the NCLEX, because you will.
Love yours. No such thing. No such thing as a life that's better than yours. No such thing as.
Hey y'all, it's me back with another sit down video, but today I'm here with the long awaited how I passed the next gen NCLEX the first time. So I'm excited to do this for y'all today. Let's get right into the information that we need to know. The first thing I would say is you need to figure out what program or software is going to be the best for you to use to study for the next gen and what I use personally. Now I know there's things like uworld, Archer, kilmek. Me personally, especially with the top two softwares, which are uworld and Archer, I didn't know that much about uworld, but as I was going through TikTok before I took my test, I was getting comparisons on Archer and uworld, so I thought that I would bring that to y'all here. So with the top two softwares, Archer and uworld, I was trying to figure out which one would be best for the next gen. From doing my own research, I did realize that uworld has more detailed rationales when it comes to answering their practice questions, but it can be a little overwhelming for someone like me that wants it real quick and straight to the point, what I need to know from that specific question. I also noticed that uworld has questions that are way too detailed. The next gen NCLEX asks real straight to the point questions, and I noticed that Archer had questions on their practice exams and their readiness exams that were going to be way more similar to the actual NCLEX itself. As far as price, I also noticed that uworld was more expensive than Archer. Archer allows you to take multiple readiness exams, whereas uworld only has one adaptive test available for you to take. I did notice that some of Archer's rationales to their questions did have some typos in it, but it wasn't anything that you couldn't reason out what the actual answer to the question was. The NCLEX asked very vague questions, and that's why I felt like Archer was going to be the best for me, because it was going to have questions on the readiness exams as well as their practice exams that was going to be much more similar to the NCLEX itself. So I chose Archer. So with Archer, you're probably wondering, okay, what exactly did I do? So my plan for myself, they have different week length plans that are available to you on Archer when you buy the subscription. I bought the lowest costing one. To me, that made the most sense. It gave you access to everything. So you could go by their study plan, but I kind of just made my own. So what I did is for a whole month, each day I would study a different system or multiple different systems. They have these 2 8-hour long comprehensive, it's basically like an instructor walking you through each of the PowerPoints. And I took the PowerPoints, which they do have available for you to print out, and I highlighted and wrote down what I needed to remember with those specific topics. This is just an example of my thick binder that I use that has all their notes, and these are like what their PowerPoints look like. So yeah, I would highlight, underline, that kind of stuff, whatever they would point out in the actual lecture itself. And to me, using the 2 8-hour videos was a lot quicker than going through each of the systems videos. And I also felt like each of the systems videos gave you way too much detail on each body system, whereas the comprehensive videos hit the high points on the very important diseases that you needed to know within each body system category. So while I was studying for that month, I also took multiple practice exams. I tried to do at least 70 to 100 questions a day. The next gen NCLEX does have a question range that ranges from 85 to 150. So if you get the whole test, it'll be 150. If you get enough right before then it'll cut off at 85 instead of 75 like the old NCLEX. I also used kilmek to help me study. I didn't watch every single one of his videos. I know the most important ones that I watched was his prioritization and delegation lectures. I also watched the OB and PEDS one, as I felt those were areas that I needed to improve in. And for his, it took me a minute to even find the audios. They're not super readily available. If I have them or if I'm able to find them, I'll link them down below for y'all. But I took the audio as well as with some printed out notes that I found to kind of help me highlight the important things within those systems, because I knew those were my weaker areas. As I was on TikTok kind of learning about different things that people use to study, I also found that some people use podcasts or YouTube videos to help them study. study. So one of the podcasts that I used was called the NCLEX High Yield Podcast, and he just kind of goes through like specific diseases, ones that you could get confused very easily, and helps you kind of point out the differences between those. So I did all of this for a month, and I had my test scheduled for a specific day, but I decided to push it back. My advice to any nursing students that are about to take the NCLEX is, one, you're not going to know every single thing that there is to know about nursing. You just need to have a general knowledge on the important things on specific diseases, and that should be able to help you to pass the NCLEX. So I would say as soon as you feel like you're ready, take it. I would say keep your test day, don't push it back. I would also say to try to take the NCLEX during midday. That way you're able to get up, go about your day, get some breakfast, and then go and take the test. I wouldn't schedule it at 8 o'clock in the morning. I would also say don't study the day of your NCLEX. On Archer's NCLEX study plan, they also recommend to not study the day of the test. That way you're able to not have to feel like you're gonna cram. Now let's talk about the day of my NCLEX. The day of my NCLEX, I went and got food, some Starbucks, and then my test was at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So the day of my NCLEX, when I was riding there, I listened to 2 different motivational podcasts or YouTube videos. One that I watched was the NCLEX High Yield episode 35, which is like an NCLEX affirmation or meditation. I used that to help kind of calm my nerves before I took the test and kind of get some motivation. I also listened to a lecture by Kilmek. I think it's his last one, but I'll try to find it specifically. He has just a lecture just reminding you, like, you know what you know, you've been in nursing school up to this point in time, like, you're gonna pass this test. Like, it's just basically a motivational lecture, and both of those lectures kind of helped me to kind of calm my nerves and to really just get into the mindset to be able to go in here and pass this test. Also with Archer, they recommend that you get 4 consecutive very highs on their readiness exams. I took more than 4 just because I just wanted to make sure that I felt like I was ready. But their readiness exams are basically computer adaptive, like the NCLEX basically, compared to their practice tests will give you the rationales after each of the questions. So I got more than 4 very highs on the readiness exams, and that's when I felt like I was ready to go and take the test. Now, when you go to take the NCLEX, they do provide noise canceling headphones, so I did use that during my exam. I would recommend to take breaks. I didn't take a break. Probably should have. But I would recommend anybody else to make sure they take a break, try to regather their thoughts, and then sit back down and continue taking the test. I would also recommend to go off of your gut feeling that you feel like the answer is. I feel like even in nursing school, that would be a mistake I would make, is not trusting my gut. When I would trust my gut, I would usually most of the time have the right answer the first time. So after I came out of the NCLEX, right, it really honestly felt like a fever dream. I couldn't remember any of the questions that I answered, and I was just like hoping that they would post the results to my test very quickly, but I knew it was gonna take a minute. So that moves us on to the NCLEX Pearson Vue passing trick. Now, if y'all want me to explain that, I will, but if you know what I'm talking about, I would say 100% is accurate, because I went and tried it and it said that basically, long story short, if you log back in and try to register for another test, you'll either get a good pop-up or a bad pop-up. Basically, the good pop-up is basically gonna be saying that you already took the exam, another exam can't be scheduled at this time. The bad pop-up is basically you'll be allowed to re-register for the exam, and that'll be indicating that you did not pass. I tried this 4 hours after my exam and it worked. Some people say it works an hour to 2 hours after the exam, but it took longer for that for mine. I didn't get my official NCLEX results until 2 weeks after that. But yeah, that's my personal opinion. So Archer, all the way. Also, some people said that they use ATI. To me, that's a lot of books. I would say Archer all the way. Archer, Kilmek, High Yield, NCLEX podcast. You're good. That's what I would say to do. Archer also offers tutors if you feel like that's what you need, where you can go to like scheduled online lectures if you needed to be more structured like that, or if you'd rather do your own plan. You know, you got either options. But yeah, please let me know if y'all have any questions down below or want to know anything else. If you got to this point, say in the comments below. I will pass the NCLEX, because you will. You got this. You know what you know. I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.
Better than yours.